When my husband demeaned me yet again, labeling me foolish in French during a conversation with his lover, I knew our marriage was beyond repair. I accepted a job offer from a U.S. company and booked a flight to New York. The following day, after securing my visa, I left divorce papers and my resignation letter on my husband's desk. He was also my employer. He was about to review the documents thoroughly, but his mistress complained of a sudden stomach pain. Without hesitation, he signed the papers and rushed out, carrying her in his arms. I didn't linger or look back. Months later, under the shimmering New York skyline, the truth dawned on him. Javier wept, his eyes red and puffy, but he could never track down his former wife. "Ms. Morales, we're thrilled to welcome you to the team," said Carla Mendoza with enthusiasm after receiving my final confirmation from across the Atlantic. "When will you start?" she asked. I paused briefly before replying, "In 2 weeks." After ending the call, I noticed Diego Alvarez standing behind me, his expression stern. "Where are you headed?" he asked coldly. I met his gaze with indifference. "Overseas?" Diego let out a mocking chuckle. "Don't be so theatrical. Just because yesterday was our 5th anniversary, and I brought Isabella along, you're threatening to leave the country?" I offered no explanation. He was unaware that I'd understood every word of his French conversation with Isabella at the restaurant, where he openly criticized our 5 years together. "She's consumed by work, chores, and cooking. We share nothing beyond that. When I talk about living fully, she drones on about job perks. She's utterly unromantic," he had said. "Marrying her feels like hiring a worker. I deeply regret it." Isabella laughed lightly and teased, "If I hadn't left for abroad back then, would you have chosen me, Diego?" His response was earnest. "Without a doubt. In the past, I might have caused a scene, but this time, I stayed eerily composed. I finished my meal under the waiter's uneasy stare, stood, and said, 'Enjoy your chat. I'm heading home.'" Isabella feigned concern. "Laura, Diego, and I were just discussing business. Don't read too much into it." I ignored her and walked out, hearing Diego's exasperated voice. "Ignore her. She's just imagining things." Only the waiter followed me. Hesitating, he said, "Ma'am, there's something you should know." I gave him a faint smile. "Thank you, but I already understood everything." His final look, filled with pity, felt almost tragic. That moment solidified my decision to end the marriage. When Diego later scolded me and saw my lack of reaction, he deflated and shifted topics. "Isabella's joining the company," he said. "She'll take your role. She's far more capable, with her international education. If you want to keep working, you can assist her as her secretary. Otherwise, stay home as a housewife." He watched my face, already plotting my exit. Relief washed over me. His words gave me the perfect excuse to leave without explanation. "Fine," I said calmly. "I'll step down and let her take over." Thinking I was speaking out of spite, Diego brushed it off. "Not working is better for you. So many women would kill for that life. I'll take you on a vacation soon to unwind." I shook my head. "If you cared, you'd come with me to the orphanage to visit the director this week." He agreed casually. "Sure, I haven't seen her in a while either." Diego and I grew up in the same orphanage. As kids, I shielded him from bullies, being more mature. He'd look at me with shining eyes and promise, "When I'm older, I'll keep you safe. I'll always treat you right." But always proved too long, and promises too brittle. In college, Diego changed. The city's glamour dazzled him, and he fell for Isabella, the French department star. When he took French classes just to be near her, I should have seen the signs. But Isabella, with her captivating charm, initially ignored him, leaving for abroad with a wealthy suitor. Now, with Diego's wealth and success, I had faded, while Isabella's allure shone brighter. The next day, I went to the office to gather my things. Colleagues cast curious glances. A close coworker approached quietly. "Clara brought this woman to your office and had your belongings cleared out this morning. What's happening?" I nodded, patting her hand reassuringly. Entering my office, I saw my items gone, my wedding photo with Diego discarded in the trash. Isabella smirked smugly. "Sorry, Mrs. Alvarez. Diego wanted this done quickly, so they cleared everything this morning." She feigned surprise at the photo. "Oh, who threw out your wedding picture with Diego?" She handed it to me. I took it, removed the photo from its frame, and tore it apart. "No need to salvage garbage," I said. Diego's shocked voice came from behind. "Elena, what are you doing? How could you destroy this photo?" He scrambled to gather the pieces, trying to reassemble them. "But broken things can't be restored, just like our bond. That photo once meant everything to me. When we married, Diego's business was just starting, and we were broke after buying rings. I suggested skipping wedding photos, but he insisted. I don't want you to feel deprived by choosing me." He worked sleepless nights to afford those portraits, costing just over $1,000, less than one of his current ties. Those photos convinced me to marry him, despite his brief betrayal. But cracks, once formed, only deepen. Ignoring his outburst, I handed him a document. "Here's my resignation. Sign it." My calm demeanor unsettled him, a flicker of unease crossing his face. He scanned the papers. "If you don't want to resign, we can discuss it. I'll find another role for Isabella." Panicked, Isabella clung to his arm, whining, "Diego?" For once, he ignored her, looking at me hopefully. I gave a faint, distant smile. "No need. I've given enough to this job." Diego clenched his jaw, slamming the table. "Fine, if that's your choice, don't regret it." He began reading the document, but Isabella clutched her stomach. "Diego, I'm in pain. Sign it and take me to the hospital." He scribbled his signature and rushed out with her. Seeing the signed papers, I felt a wave of relief. Tucked among them was the divorce agreement. His signature made him a stranger. At home, I sorted my belongings, keeping what I needed and discarding everything tied to him. I erased our shared history, the 1,000 origami stars he made at 13, love letters from 18, the gold ring he bought with his last savings. Those treasures now felt worthless. Diego returned at 8 p.m., looking weary. Noticing the emptier house, he frowned at my packed bags. "What's this?" I made an excuse. "The house was cluttered, so I'm clearing out." He checked the closet, seeing only his clothes. "Where's your stuff?" I smiled. "You said to be a housewife, right? My things were outdated, so I'm replacing them." He smirked. "You're not shy about spending my money. Buy what you want. I've freed my schedule to visit the orphanage tomorrow." I nodded. "Okay." After our shared childhood, I wanted a dignified farewell with Elle. The next day, Diego came home early, a rarity. I was in the kitchen, finalizing my suitcase. He leaned against the doorway, arms crossed, his face calculating. He seemed to want to speak but hesitated. I kept folding clothes, ignoring him. He finally spoke. "Elena, I've been reflecting." He paused, the words heavy. "Are you certain about this?" I turned, barely containing my anger. "Certain about what, Diego? Leaving someone who disrespects me? Not wasting years being replaced?" "Yes, I'm certain." His face hardened, but he didn't reply immediately. Eventually, he sighed. "I didn't mean for things to spiral like this. I thought you'd understand over time." I laughed bitterly. "Understand what? That you betrayed and devalued me? That you chose her and expect me to accept it?" He stepped closer, hands raised to calm me. "I'm not saying you should accept it. I just don't know how we ended up here. Maybe you closed yourself off, buried in work, and we drifted." I scoffed. "So it's my fault now? Blaming me is easier, isn't it?" "I'm not blaming you," he said, exasperated. "I just think we're making a mistake throwing everything away." I stood firm. "The only thing thrown away was my respect for you, Diego. And that was gone long ago, you just didn't see it." Silence hung between us. I thought he'd leave, but he stayed, searching for words. "What about the orphanage?" he asked softly. "Elle means so much to us." I took a deep breath. "I'll visit Elle, not for you, but for her. She deserves a proper goodbye, and I won't let our past taint that." He seemed ready to speak but stopped. He turned and left the kitchen. The next morning, we drove to the orphanage in silence. Elle greeted us warmly, but her eyes lingered on me, sensing something amiss. While Diego spoke with her, I wandered the grounds, each corner stirring memories of a childhood I thought would last forever. Elle found me under the old tree where Diego once vowed to protect me. She took my hand gently. "What's wrong, dear?" she asked with concern. Tears fell as I confessed, "I'm leaving, Elle. I can't stay in a life that isn't mine." She hugged me tightly, her silence louder than words. Back home, Diego noticed my resolve. My suitcase was ready, and I awaited the taxi. He tried one last time to sway me, but I was done. "There's no going back, Diego," I said firmly, my voice heavy with exhaustion. "I've tried too long. Now I'm choosing myself." The taxi arrived, and he stood in the doorway, watching me leave with a hollow expression. There were no dramatic farewells, just the sound of the car door closing, ending a chapter long overdue. As the taxi pulled away, I felt relief mixed with pain. Letting go of something once cherished is hard, but sometimes it's vital. At the airport, determination replaced fear. I was leaving a suffocating life, ready to face the challenges of starting anew. In my new city, I rebuilt from scratch, rented a modest apartment, bought simple furniture, and dove into my job. My team, led by Carla, welcomed me warmly, trusting my abilities from the start. Within months, I thrived. My strategic decisions on key projects brought success, earning me a quick promotion. My confidence grew, and I felt valued again. Meanwhile, news of Diego trickled in from old colleagues, not out of curiosity but frustration. "Elena, Diego's lost without you," one wrote. "Isabella can't handle the company." My absence left a void. Isabella, despite her bravado, lacked the expertise to lead. The company lost projects, clients, and credibility. My career, however, soared. Carla encouraged me to start my own venture, and with her support and investors, I launched a consultancy. It quickly gained traction, earning me a strong reputation. Then, Diego reached out. His email read, "Elena, we need to talk." I laughed at his nerve and ignored it. He persisted with calls and messages, his voice desperate when I finally answered. "I messed up," he pleaded. "The company's collapsing. Isabella's gone. I need you." I considered pity but recalled his betrayals and disrespect. "You made your choices, Diego," I said calmly. "Now live with them. I've built the life I deserve, and you're not part of it." I hung up before he could reply, feeling liberated. Months later, I learned Diego's company went bankrupt. He lost his wealth, home, and reputation. Meanwhile, my consultancy flourished, and I found peace. On my birthday, I celebrated with new friends and colleagues. Carla's speech praised my strength, and I realized how far I'd come. Diego tried to break me, but I emerged stronger. He drowned in his choices, while I was free to live, dream, and build the life I always deserved.